obsessed with the Connie Fife Show. It's about a lifestyle shift to move up or out.
Hey, what's your jam? What's the one thing that really drives you? What makes you unstoppable?
It's about opening a new door to live your dream.
People give up way too early on their dreams.
It's about enjoying the journey. It's about keeping it real.
Damn, now the interviewee is interviewing the interviewer. I like this.
It's all about you.
I knew there was something else I wanted to do. Stop taking shit so seriously. Y'all can do this. Take an outrageous look at life and laugh.
This is the Connie Fife Show.
We love your voice. We love your jam. You need to be on radio.
And now your host, Connie Fife.
Hi, everyone. This is Connie Fife, and welcome to the Connie Fife Show. Every single week, we come back week after week, and we bring you just amazing, amazing guests that really fit into the crazy ones. And I am chuckling here because today's guests are crazy ones, but they have such amazing stories. Their backstories are just so incredible. And I could sit here and I can spend the show just introducing them and what they have done. These two incredible individuals, totally different backstories, but they have come together to create such a powerful message where they are transform other people's life. So let me start by introducing Dr. Alan Lycka. He's been acknowledged as one of the leading cosmetic dermatologists in the world for 3 decades, a pioneer in his field, an inventor, author of 17 books, 30 plus academic papers, host of a top internet radio show on his subject matter, Inside Cosmetic Surgery Today. In 2003, though, his life changed. It was turned upside down when in Disneyland with his wife and his young daughter, he had a foot drop. And after a battery of tests, it was misdiagnosed as Lou Gehrig's disease and told to get his affairs in order. Now imagine being told to get your affairs in order. And I'm sure right now you're sitting there and thinking, my gosh, how does somebody deal with that? How does someone handle that? Well, he's going to be sharing that with us. He's going to be sharing that story with us. But what has happened is that he turned that into a gift, and he is transforming other people's lives. And he is showing them how to take that and really live a fantastic life. And that is the title of his book that he has co-authored with Harriet. And I'm going to share more about her also in a minute. But currently, he is a leading expert. He is living a fantastic life, and he is turning points. He's a transformational speaker, a thought leader, a coach, a mentor. So let me welcome Dr. Alan Lycka here to the Connie Fife Show.
Connie, thank you so much for having me today. It truly is a pleasure to be here. And it looks like we got most of the gremlins out this morning, so I think we're ready to roll.
I know. We are ready to go. So if you would, Dr. Lycka, share more about your story. I mean, what was it like to be at Disneyland enjoying a day with
let me tell you,
Yes.
I'm going to take you back. It was 2003. It was spring break. I was walking Disneyland with my wife and my youngest daughter. It was a hot, sticky day. It was February. And my wife turned to me and said, "What's wrong with you, hon?" You know, for once in my life, I hadn't said anything wrong. I hadn't done anything wrong. I hadn't even thunk anything wrong. So I turned to her and I said, "I really don't have the faintest idea what you're talking about." And then she said something equally bizarre. She said, "Listen to your foot." Well, that was bizarre because you don't listen to your foot. But she insisted, listen to your foot. And my foot had suddenly developed a foot drop. And with every step I was taking, my right foot was slapping against the pavement. You know, your brain is programmed to lift up your feet as you walk. Right. And something had gone wrong in the neurological mechanism, and it just wasn't apparent. And I said, "Dear, I don't know what's wrong." But then she said the words, "When we get back, you better get this checked out." And when your wife tells you that with that tone of voice, you know you better listen.
That's right.
So I was a good boy. I listened. I got checked, and I had CAT scans. I had brain scans. I had PET scans. I had scans. And you know what they showed at the end of the day?
Well, I mean, I can't even imagine. Probably like you had a weak foot.
They showed absolutely nothing. Everything was okay on all those tests. So that was a befuddle. So I had more tests and more tests and more tests. So I had $1 billion workup at the end of the day. And I ended up on the doorstep of a world-leading neurologist.
Okay.
And that neurologist sat me down. He said, Dr. Lycka, you better be sitting down when I tell you this. I said, why? I've got a dropped right foot. He said, no, you don't. You have ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. And in 6 months, you're going to be dead. Get your affairs in order. Well, I was really taken aback. I was almost speechless. But I shot back, is there a way to prove this diagnosis? He said, of course, on autopsy.
Wow.
So I said, I'm not going to die to prove you wrong. So I left there in a huff. I left there in a tizzy. And when you go through something like this, you go through a grief reaction, Connie. You go through the phases of death and dying that Elizabeth Kubler-Ross points out in her book on death and dying. You go through anger. You can bite the head off nails. You go through denial. There's nothing wrong. I can do everything. This is a crazy idea. And you know there is something wrong. You go through depression. And some days you can't even get out of bed. You're so depressed by all this. And you go through bargaining. Oh, God, please don't let this happen. I'll do anything if this doesn't happen. But you know, the last phase of Kubler-Ross is acceptance. And I wasn't going to accept this because I knew in my heart of hearts there was something else wrong. And I talked to my wife, and my wife said, I don't know what you have. I haven't got the faintest idea. But you're smart. You can figure it out. You're smarter than all those doctors. Well, that was a good vote of confidence, but it was a difficult one. But this was 2003, and we just had invented something that really helped me out a lot. And you probably have heard about it. It's called the internet. You ever hear of that thing?
I think I did.
Well, you know, back then we had no Dr. Google. We had no help with what we had.
Right.
All we had was dial-on connections to get on this strange and wonderful beast. And with that, and the help of a lot of nerds, I was able to get on. And they were help me to search the net. We didn't have Dr. Google back then to help us.
No,
So,
let me ask you a question. What I found interesting now is you're a doctor. How did that affect you as a doctor being diagnosed by these other doctors and you're disagreeing with them?
Well, you know, unfortunately, I'm a super specialist. I'm a dermatologist, and I get people sent to me all the time who have been misdiagnosed. I get people that get sent to me being told they had one thing and I have another. So I know doctors are not infallible. I know doctors do not always have all the answers. Okay. That's why we have a second opinion. That's why we have a third opinion. That's why we have a fourth opinion. Because these are opinions. They're not reality. You know, you don't do medicine. You practice medicine because you never get good at it.
Love that. I love that. Let's bring Harriet into the conversation. Let me introduce her. So Harriet, so she's an invigorating transformational speaker. She is a passionate life coach, blogger, a chartered professional accountant, football official, and an ultra marathon runner. She's a founder and CEO of the award-winning social enterprise Empowered Me, Inc., a company whose mission is to inspire and empower girls and women. As a turning point expert, Harriet Tinker is a perfect example of someone finding a need in the community and filling it. Despite dealing with obstacles in her life, she has overcome those hurdles and has found success by inspiring thousands of audience reach their full potential. Though stabbed, kidnapped, and left for dead, she turned that horrifying experience into motivation. She has inspired and given hope to women who are faced with domestic violence. She is known by her students as a powerhouse role model who makes being genuine the most powerful thing of all. She has received numerous awards, including the YMCA Woman of Distinction, which I am very familiar with, the Global Women of Vision Afro-Canadian Community, and she is also the co-author of The Secrets of Living a Fantastic Life, as she has now co-authored with our co-guest today. So, Harriet, how did you and Dr. Lycka come together to co-write this book? Your backgrounds, I don't see a connection here yet.
No, not yet. First of all, thank you for having us. And we're definitely one of the crazies that really fit into your audience.
Most definitely.
So the way I met Dr. Lycka is a huge philanthropist. And one of the events that he was sponsoring was the YWCA Women of Distinction.
Okay.
This event, as you mentioned, is really recognizing women in the community who have made an impact either through business or through community. So in my category, I was nominated under the category Turning Point. And the Turning Point category is what you've done with your life to make a difference in the community. Okay. There's about 15 women in the category, and I was honored to be the recipient. So when I won the award, I was super excited because I got to meet Dr. Lycka, who was the biggest sponsor in the event. So I met with him. I took him out for lunch, and I need to remind him that I paid for lunch.
I thought she was going to say powder.
So that was awesome. So when we met for lunch, I shared my story, and he shared his story that he shared today. And we got to talking, and we said, perhaps one day we should write a book. And that was about 4 years ago. And here we are today. We wrote the book, The Secrets to Living a Fantastic Life, using the life experiences that we have had over the years.
Okay. So the connection is you've both gone through something and you've learned to live that fantastic life, putting that behind you and helping that transform the life of other people.
You bet. That's really what's connected us. And we've used the 13 golden pearls that we've discovered, and that we can talk about that later on.
Yeah, I've noticed the pearls.
Hey, one thing, Harriet says from tragic to magic. Those are some words I'd like to emphasize here.
Oh,
it's tragic
beautiful.
To magic.
Mm-hmm. That is beautiful. Harriet, stabbed, kidnapped, left for dead. That is horrifying. I mean, really a horrifying experience. And you're a former model.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
you're a football official. What? Okay, I want to know more about that one.
I'm a referee, one of the referees here in Edmonton, in Canada. So I do officiate amateurs to university football.
Okay.
And Canadian football is different from American football.
Right. Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of differences, but at the end of the day, the officiating is the same. You throw your flag, you straighten those players and tell them we must play with discipline. Yeah, and it's fun. I love football. We could go on. That could be another show on its own.
What do you think, Dr. Lycka, from the runway to the...
It's really been a pleasure to work with Harriet because, we are sort of different ends of the spectrum. She's ebony, I'm ivory. She's young, I'm old. She looks at things in a similar way, although different. So when we were able to put this book together, we wrote it as a dialogue between us where we talk each chapter through. At first, each chapter starts with a magnificent story that helps to, it's almost like a parable that helps to bring the story home. And then we have this dialogue between Harriet and I to bring the meaning of the story out. And we sprinkle it with over 140 quotes to bring the meaning even to a deeper level. From world's authorities, we've taken each topic and made it into something a bigger one. So at the end of this, we discovered these golden pearls that really helped us to discover what the world is about. Do you know how a golden pearl is made, Connie?
I do, but I'm going to ask you to share that with our listeners.
Okay, sure. Let me just share that a little bit.
Yes, please.
A golden pearl comes about, and there are oysters that make golden pearls. They're rare. They exist in the South Pacific, in Indonesia and Malaysia and the Philippines area. But what happens when a pearl is made? A grain of salt gets inside the lining of the shell. And that oyster gets irritated. It gets traumatized. And as a result of that trauma, it walls off that trauma with this beautiful material called luster. And in these particular oysters, it's golden in nature. So as a result of their trauma, they bring out something that's beautiful and wonderful. And I think that's what's come about because of Harriet, in my experience. We brought out something that's beautiful and wonderful because of the trauma that we've gone through.
That is beautiful. I love that. So what are some of the pearls? I know that you came up together with 13 golden pearls. So what are some of those?
Well, we first started with 20 pearls, but our readers begged us to whittle it down to 13 because it was like drinking from a water hydrant. So we do have more pearls that will come out in another book, but these are our best pearls, our fantastic pearls. And we start with love and we end with an empowerment. And at the end, we also talk about fear because a lot of the world is going through fear right now. And we thought we should attack that as well. So I'm going to let ladies go first. I'm going to let Harriet tell us her favorite pearl.
Oh, you bet. They all are, but my favorite one, especially right now, is purpose. And that's a really big one because now, especially with the way the economy is going and the COVID being such a big deal right now, I think most of us sit in the back of our house somewhere and we ask, what is my purpose? And Dolly Parton said it very beautifully. She said, everybody has a purpose. And I absolutely agree with that. So in the book, we've used purpose as one of the golden pearls. And we use a concept called ikigai. And what ikigai stands for, it's a Japanese meaning reason for being. So when you're doing your reason for being, you have to ask yourself 4 very important questions. So number 1, what is it that you love to do? For example, maybe you love football or you love soccer. It doesn't mean you want to be a football player or a soccer player. Maybe you love the concept of team. Maybe you want a career in a teamwork or competitiveness. Maybe that's what you love to do. So you write down things that you love. Number 2, what is it that you're good at? And sometimes you don't know. It's best to ask your friends. You might have done something for them. Maybe you're a good listener. You could be a social worker. Maybe you're like me. You love numbers. You could be an accountant. Yeah. So there's another thing. So that's question number 2. What is it that you love to do? Number 3, look at your community. What does the community need? Or what does the world need? Get creative. It's like in 2008, the need was there when the economy was down. That's when Uber was discovered.
Right.
Things like that. Yeah, so that's what you ask. What does the community need? And then the very last question, what is it that you can do and get paid for it? Because you need to be compensated so that we can continue to make a difference with what we love. So those are the 4 questions. What is it that you love to do? What are you good at? What does the community need? And what can you do and get paid for it? So once you've answered those 4 questions, they will intercept. And for your listeners, I always recommend you start off with a part-time ikigai. Just start off with what is it that you love to do?
Yes.
And what are you good at?
And that is so important right now, like you said, especially right now with we're saying, COVID and chaos with what's going on, of course, here in the U.S. I know you're both in Canada, and people are out of a job and they don't know what to do or where to go next, and they're trying to figure it out. So really, really great advice. What about laughter? I see that laughter is one of your golden pearls.
I think laughter is one of the most important pearls we could ever have because there's nothing that brings our mind and body back together than a good laugh. And I think a laugh is something that is a gift to us. It helps us to laugh at ourselves when things are going wrong.
Yeah.
Like this morning, we had to laugh when the gremlins were all around and we didn't press the record button. And that's how we get through troubles, by being able to laugh. Without laughing, we wouldn't get through those troubles very much. And do you know that scientists have actually studied laughter and they've come up with the world's funniest joke?
No, I don't know the fun.
There was a doctor by the name of Dr. Richard Wiseman. What a great name, Wiseman. Yes. He was a psychologist, and he studied all the jokes in the world, and he got people to rate them according to how funny they are. Would you like to hear the world's funniest joke?
I would.
Okay. Well, there were two hunters.
My seat.
Yes, okay. There were two hunters. They were out in the woods, and they were way out in the boonies, and one dropped down. He looked like he was dead, and his buddy didn't know what to do. So his buddy grabbed him and said, buddy, wake up. Well, he wasn't moving. So what does he do? He brings out his cell phone. He calls 911. And he calls the operator. Operator. I don't know what to do. I think my buddy's dead. The operator says, calm down, sir. I think I can help you. First, could you please make sure he's dead? So the phone drops down.
Right.
There's the cock of a rifle and a loud bang. And you could hear it clearly resonating over the phone. Bang! Comes back and he says, okay, he's dead. What do I do now? He shot him.
I got that. Yeah, he's dead now.
Connie, it's a terrible joke, but I think that's what jokes are about. Aren't they about being improbable? Aren't they about the do you laugh at people when they slip on a banana peel?
I first make sure they're okay, and then, yes.
Yes, we all do. And if you're not laughing, you're giggling underneath your breath.
We do.
And why do we do that? Because it's improbable. And, we laugh at slapstick humor because it's so ludicrous when it happens. And life is like that. If we don't laugh at the things that are funny and the things that are really out of the ordinary, we'd be crying all the time.
Right.
And I think that's what's beautiful about laughter is it brings everything back home. And I think that's proof that there's some high spirit greater than we are that allows us to laugh at things rather than cry at things and rather than be destroyed at things.
Absolutely right. I mean, again, laughter is the best medicine. And when my mom was ill, she would make us laugh at everything. Even, in her last moments, she still had us laughing. And we, when we were sitting there, said, well, that's terrible. Why are we laughing? And, my mom was saying, but why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Absolutely.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. Well, what about gratitude? I mean, most people don't think of gratitude, especially, now with COVID happening. I mean, you talked about 2008 and how Uber came to be. Right now, especially right now, there is so much for us to have gratitude for. There is so much new opportunities that could happen right now. And again, with people not thinking about gratitude, it's really an important personality trait of its own. So who wants to talk about gratitude as being one of the important golden pearls?
Harriet, why don't you start first and I'll finish it off? How about that?
Oh, you bet. So with gratitude, what I've done, especially most people really, they don't know what they have until they've lost it.
Yeah.
So what I do, especially with my students in class, I'll have them draw a line in the middle of a page, write down things you absolutely hate about your life. And on the other column, write all the things that you're grateful for. So at the end, what I'll do, I have a bag of potatoes. So you notice the things they hate about their life is a lot longer than the gratitude. So what I'll do, I'll have them bring that bag of how many things they've written down that they're really they think is wrong with their lives. Mm-hmm. So I put as many potatoes as their list, and I ask them to carry that around the whole entire day. So they realize how heavy it is. And I told them that's the energy you produce when you're not grateful. So gratitude is so important. The most important thing is writing down 3 things that you're really grateful for in the morning and 3 things in the evening when you get home. So this is so important. And it's very therapeutic because you're writing down things that you're very grateful for. For example, I'm grateful for my house because of the heat that it produces and keeps me warm. It's all the little things. And it's so important to be grateful for what you have. And I know Dr. Lycka has some more. He's full of wisdom when it comes to gratitude, actually.
Gratitude is one of the most important things we can ever do. And I think it's very important that everybody realize it's a fundamental part of our lives. And when you're grateful, you give back. And I'm going to challenge all your listeners today, Connie, to give back to somebody that they haven't even met, somebody that they can make the world a better for today. Pay it forward, because by that gift of giving, you can do something far more than anything else. Most of us have food, most of us have roofs over our head, most of us have shelter, Well, half the world doesn't, and we can do little things like that. By doing something, go mow your neighbor's lawn. Go help them in this COVID crisis to do something that they couldn't do. Maybe you can get their groceries for them. Maybe you can just give them a smile and a little joke today. Maybe you can make their day a little bit helpful. Maybe you have a car and can do an errand for them that they don't have. But think about all the wonderful things you can do by giving back and doing something that way.
I love that. And that is wonderful. What about wisdom? That was and that was something that I was looking at when I was going through and reading through your list of pearls. Wisdom, that I have gratitude for other people, really rather than burying our head in the sand, playing the victim, which both of you talk about, and transforming your life and helping others uncover their secrets of living a fantastic life. So this is why I wanted to talk about your book a little bit more, so our listeners know about your book.
Sure.
Yes.
Well, I think from wisdom becomes something that's enthusiasm. And from enthusiasm, enthusiasm's the game changer. Enthusiasm is the one thing in life that really makes it a great thing. And I would like to tell a little story, Connie, if we can.
Sure, please.
Okay. Well, there was Fred the carpenter, and Fred was tired. He couldn't do the work that he was doing anymore. He had worked 35 years for one company, and he just didn't have that enthusiasm anymore. So he went to his boss and said, "Boss, I'm quitting." The boss was totally taken aback. I mean, Fred had helped him build every house that he ever did. He was his master carpenter. So the boss said, "Fred, can you do just one more thing for me?" And Fred said, "Of course, boss. I've loved it here. This has been the only job I've ever had. I'll do anything for you." He said, "Could you build me one more house?" Fred looked down and said, "Okay, boss." He did it begrudgingly. He said, "Okay." So he went to work, but his heart was not in it. He spent 2 hours a day working rather than the 12 hours a day he used to otherwise. And when he was done, the house barely passed inspection. It was really done with shoddy workmanship, something he had never done before in his life. So when that happened, he took the keys again and he threw the keys on the boss desk and said, "Okay, I'm done. I'm out of here." The boss said, "Just 1 minute, Fred." He gathered everybody around in the office and said, "Everybody, this is Fred's last day. This is his last day. He's been my best employee. I wish everybody was like him. And I have a little gift for Fred because this is such a special day. Fred, here's the keys to the last house that you ever built. I want you to live it with all the enthusiasm you've given me and enjoy it with all the enthusiasm that you've ever had." Wow. That would sure be a different day if he was enthusiastic every day, Connie. Enthusiasm is not a Monday thing. It's not a Friday thing. It's not a bring it when you can thing. It's something you need to bring all the time. It's the game changer.
Right. Because you don't know what's going to happen on the other side. You don't know that that's your house. That's going to be there for you at the end of the day. So absolutely. There was when I was, and you talk about woman of distinction. When I was with Girl Scouts, we had woman of distinction.
Oh,
that was one of the programs that we had there as well. And I knew at the end, that I was losing my position as CEO, but I still had to carry on that enthusiasm with all my might all the way to the end because other people were relying on me for that.
Wow.
So I always remember that. The Connie Five Show is heard everywhere. You can find The Connie Five Show on most of your favorite networks. It's time to now recognize and thank our major networks for all of their support. In the house, we have Conscious Business Radio, C-Suite Radio, Transformation Radio, iHeartRadio. We are also heard on Google Play, Apple, Radio, Stitcher, and so many more that I just can't keep up with them all. I'm Connie Fife, your unstoppable diva. Learn more about our gym and how we can work together at my fancy schwanky website, ConnieFifeShow.com. I'll see you over there. Until then, like, share. Now back to the show. I'm loving our conversation. I mean, I can continue going on. You two are just beautiful and lovely to chat with. So, Dr. Lycka, finish this sentence for me. I am unstoppable because.
I am unstoppable because it's not what happens to me. It's what I do with what happens. That was the philosophy of a Greek philosopher by the name of Epictetus in 50 to 150 AD. And he was so brilliant in what he had done. He said, it's not what happens to me, it's what I do with what happens. Now, he was a slave that became a free man. So it's very apropos to being unstoppable. He actually overcame his situation completely by doing so.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Harriet, if you could finish the sentence, I am unstoppable because.
Because I can do anything that people tell me I will not be able to do.
I love that. So if there were a song about you, Harriet, what would it be?
She's unstoppable, she's crazy, and she is a good role model.
Oh, love that. Dr. Lycka, when you live bravely, are you living your truth?
I think that you need courage to survive. And in our second book, we have the Golden Pearl Courage. So I encourage everybody to pick that up when that's available. I think courage is one of the things that you must have inside of you. And bravery comes from courage. It's not fear that we really need to worry. Only in fear can we bring out courage and bravery. So it's one of those things that allows us to be stronger, not weaker. So although we don't need to think we have to, although we shake and shudder in fear, I think it's something that makes us who we are. And yes, that's how we can live our true lives, by going through the challenges that are there.
And Dr. Lycka, how do you want the world to hear from you?
I would like at the end of the day just to help one person through our books and in our thoughts. I would like one person to get better and overcome the problems in their life. I would like them to use those problems and be stronger for them, not weaker for them. I like them to take one step forward and move quicker. And in that, I think I'd like to help them with that. And Harriet and I have a little gift for your listeners. May we share it?
Oh, please do. Please do.
Okay. We would like to give them 52 golden pearls, one pearl a week for 52 weeks.
Oh.
And all they have to do is text us the word golden pearls with an S on it, golden pearls, to 1-819-717-2515. That's the word golden pearls to 1-819-717-2515. And they will get a golden pearl a week for the next 52 weeks.
Wow. I love that. So we'll make sure that we include that in this message. So everyone, you want to get a golden pearl 1 week for 52 weeks, and we'll make sure that we include that number in the message so you get that. So what is next? You talked about your second book. So what is next? As a group or individually, where do you go from here?
Well, Harriet and I are both public speakers. So
Yes.
As public speaking opens up, we would love to be on people's stages. They can get in touch with us regarding that. And they can do that by writing Ellen at drallenlycka.com. That's ALLEN at doctor. That's DR Allen, ALLEN, Lycka, LYCKA.com. And we'd love to help them. We'd also like to help people who need some coaching. So if they'd like to come to us and ask us for that, we would love to help them with their problems. Get in touch with us. We don't want this to be an end. We want this to be a beginning. But Harriet and I have a total of 5 books coming out this year.
Wow.
All in the various processes of being done right now. And we are working hard. We also have a book for business on the secrets of living a fantastic business life coming up for all those businesses that are in trouble right now. And we have another book with Jack Canfield. You know Jack. He's author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. It's called The Pillars of Success, that will be out in August. So we really have a busy time on our schedule. We're on podcast, we're on radio, we're all over social media. Check us out. We'd love to help you.
Wow, I love that. And Harriet, do you have anything else you want to add?
Oh, I think Dr. Lycka summarized it well. We're obviously very unstoppable and crazy. And for me, I do focus on young women and women who are going through domestic violence, because it's such a thing right now, especially being isolated, and maybe some of them are staying with their abuser, because I've experienced it. So I can use my story to give them hope, and hope is helping other people excel. So that's what I do with the women who come into the program. So between me and Dr. Lycka, we're just working together and partnering up with empowering as many people as we can. So that's really our goal at the end of the day. So it's really not what happens to you, it's what you do with what happens.
That is beautiful. That is truly beautiful. Well, Dr. Lycka, Harriet, I want to thank you both for being here today. You have incredible stories, and what you're doing with that story is truly amazing, truly incredible. You are making the world a better place. Well, thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Connie. And thank you, because you are making our message valid. So thank you as well.
And Connie, if you do have any time, we've started a podcast as well. We'd love to have you on the podcast as well.
Oh, I'd love to.
Time, I'll get our girl to get in touch with you. And if you'd like Harriet and us back individually, I don't know if you have time in your schedule, but each of our stories is so different, yet so we would love to go into a little bit more depth so other people can share have that experience and overcome the troubles in their lives. We would love to help them with that.
I would love to. We'll talk more about that offline. So let's just wrap up the show. And with everyone that's joining us today, thank you for being here, and thank you for continuing to follow and share the Connie Fife Show, because we love when you share. So share away, and share away, and share away, and share away. We want to make sure that you're sharing with everyone. Do yourself a favor and be kind to yourself this week. And because we do want to make the world a better place, and always, always, always be kind to your neighbors. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, y'all, it's Connie Fife. Thank you for listening to the Connie Fife Show. Check back often. You don't want to miss any of the good stuff. If you like what you hear and would like to be a guest on the show, head over to theconniefifeshow.com to apply. While you're there, check out our amazing advertising opportunities that will put you right in front of your perfect client. I will see you over there. Do yourself a favor this week. Activate your power and be unstoppable together.